Welcome back, guys. Hello, hello. Okay, so today's reaction, we are having every isolated tribe explained in 14 minutes. Let's go. So I'm very excited today. I don't know. Oh no, I broke. Okay, let's go. By the analysts. I actually seen. No, wait, that's the pain explainer. Never mind, never mind. I haven't seen. Well, I have seen some of these guys. The YouTube guy. Make sure to subscribe to him. Let's begin.
North Sentinelese Tribe. The Sentinelese tribe is known for its strict isolationism. They often react aggressively to unauthorized intrusions into their territory. In the early 1960s, the Indian government tried to befriend them, but to say it didn't go well would be an understatement. The government declared the island off limits to protect their sovereignty and keep intruders away, creating a 5-kilometer buffer zone around it. You might think you could ignore this ban and wander onto the island, but that would be a terrible idea, as anyone who has ever tried never lived to tell the story. In 2006, 2 Indian fishermen who had been illegally fishing for crabs moored their boat near the Sentinelese island and fell asleep. The boat broke loose and drifted onto the shores of the island.
Why would you even go near that place, you know? Because it's so dangerous to, because they'll kill anyone who goes on their island, right? So should not even risk going there, you know? So I don't know why they were so close to have drifted, because it said drifted, so that means they were close enough to the Sentinelese tribes island that they could have drifted to get there. So why would you get that close?
They were set
Yeah, those
upon by the
actually
tribe's
die for
warriors
it.
and axed to death, their bodies
R.I.P.
strapped to bamboo sticks facing the sea as a warning to others. In 2018, another incident occurred, and this time it was an American missionary who was killed. He illegally traveled to the island with the intent of converting them to Christianity. The Sentinelese tribe.
Here's my opinion on missionaries. You should find God on your own. You know, I don't think you should force people to believe in. If you will find God if you are searching. You know, so I don't think you should force people to become a Christian. Like, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. Jesus Christ is my savior. I know, but you have to come to God on your own. You know, you have to be seeking Him. So I don't think you should, force people to become a Christian. Or inconvenience them into becoming a Christian. Yeah, yeah.
Issued warnings on 4 different occasions, but he persisted in attempting to make contact, which ultimately.
How do you get contact? Do we even know what language they speak? They probably speak their own language, bro. How are you gonna convince them?
Led to his fatal encounter. His dead body was seen dragged up and down the shore by the tribe's warriors. The Sentinelese people have made it clear that they do not want contact with outsiders, and their reactions are based on a desire for isolation and self-preservation.
How do we know what they want to do? What their goal is? No, they probably, because they talk to. Well, do we know what language would they speak? Maybe they're protecting us from the island, not protecting the no. Yeah, they're protecting us from the island because there's probably something on the island. Also, with most of these isolated tribes, they've been around since day one, you know. So they have no what's it called, immune system buff, you know? Because modern people, they've been exposed to every single germ, you know, and we have vaccines too. But these people, they don't have that. So if they get coughed on, by by like a normal dude, then ugh, it's not gonna go well. Just that's how they wiped out so many Indians too in the Native Americans, Indians. Yeah, I call them Indians. But that's how they actually how they destroyed so many Indians, because the diseases like smallpox they brought over just demolish them because they weren't it wasn't naturally there by their island, so they couldn't have built up an immune system to defend it, you know?
rather than inherent danger. Any contact could mean the extinction of their people, as they have no immunity against diseases like flu and malaria. They shoot arrows at helicopters and approaching boats, so if you're ever thinking of visiting, chances are there's already an arrow waiting for you. Sand Tribe. The Sand People, also known as Bushmen, have existed for over 20,000 years. They're descendants of the early Stone Age ancestors and the first dwellers in South Africa, famous for their hunting skills.
These tribes, they have a direct link to our ancestors, you know? Most people don't know, like, where their ancestors are, you know? Because we've been mixed everywhere. Most people don't have, like, a straight line. But these people, well, they probably don't have a straight line either, because they probably survived by procreating with each other, which, same with the Sinhalese people, they probably survived on the island by interbreeding with each other for so long. Because they're the only people there. They're not getting any fresh people there, you know? But they have a direct link. They know where their ancestors are from because these only been on that island, you know?
They are nomads who move from place to place and live under rocky overhangs, mountains, and caves. The Sandmen are also formidable trackers who can follow the trails of any animal across virtually any surface. They hunt animals with poison-tipped arrows, obtained from the larvae of small beetles, snake venom, and plants. However, despite their extensive knowledge of herbs and toxins, the Sands are still vulnerable to the poison. So when consuming the meat from the dead animal, the area where the arrow struck is always cut out and thrown away. The Sand Tribe believes in the supremacy of a powerful god called Kagan, who can assume many forms, including the praying mantis, a snake, and a vulture. They also worship the moon.
Well, those are some, like, why those animals? Because those animals are, like, negative, you know? So why not positive then? Well, you think of them in a negative sense, you know?
Pay homage to their ancestors through offerings and sacrifices. Europeans during the war significantly reduced their numbers.
One thing about history that can sum up most history is because of the Europeans, you know? That's one sentence can sum up most of human history because of Europe. That's bad.
Fighting them with horses and firearms. The Sand People were vastly outnumbered, and although they were very courageous, did not stand a chance against the Europeans. However, they still chose to fight to the death instead of capture and slavery. Their way of life was
Yeah, I respect it. I respect it. I wouldn't want my family to be enslaved, you know? I respect it. I would probably have fought to the death too, because I don't want to be a slave. I don't think nobody wants to be a slave.
Strongly altered by colonialism, and they were no longer given the privilege to roam freely and hunt like they did in the past. Asmat Tribe. With an estimated population of about 65,000 people, the Asmat Tribe is notorious for headhunting and cannibalism. They live on a small island mangrove in Papua, a province of Indonesia. Historically, the Asmat engaged in ceremonial practices that involved the killing and consumption of the brains and flesh of their enemies, reflecting...
Why do certain tribes eat each other? Because there has to be, like, what reason or how did we... Because humans, we evolved to not eat other humans, so, like, how does the practice of eating humans become a part of their culture?
Complex cultural rituals. They strip the skull of its brains and eyes, closing up the nasal parts too, to prevent evil spirits from entering the body. The empty skull is used as a pillow for sleep and a bowl to eat.
That's a trash pillow, bro. Because the human skull, feel your skull right now, it's hard, you know? Like, unless you're like a 6-year-old, then your skull's probably very soft. Right now, you shouldn't be pushing it because you'll get a cone-shaped skull. But you shouldn't sleep on a skull. You probably got leaves, you know? Get some leaves because pillows are meant to be like comfortable. But maybe it's comfortable to sleep on a hard surface. Maybe.
However, the killing and eating of flesh and brains by the Asmat people were not just random. They were known to hunt for names and believed that by killing and eating another person, they would absorb his power and name, becoming him. Every Asmat person is named after...
Makes sense. Makes sense. You eat them to become stronger. Makes sense. Makes sense because, like, If you eat healthy food, you become healthy. So if you eat a strong person, you should become stronger. That makes sense. Makes sense to me.
After a tribe member who passed away or an enemy they hunted and ate. The tribe's people would only give names to many of the Asmat children once they were much older and had completed their first successful hunt. They must know the name of the victim and can only take the name for themselves after eating his flesh. The hunting generally included attacking enemy villages and might even include unsuspecting visitors. In an improbable scenario, an unsuspecting visitor to Indonesia could unwittingly become a target in the Asmat.
They pick the names. So imagine they got like all native names, like I don't know native names, but like extremely complex names, and then they just got a dude named like Thomas. They got a dude named Thomas. They got all these complex names, all these like culturally significant names, and they just got a dude named Robert.
Tradition of name-taking. However, while there is historical evidence of cannibalism and headhunting, these practices are no longer a representation of the Asmat people today. The Asmat people also believe they come from wood and hold the forest sacred. Since ancient times, they have carved wooden relics, including detailed statues and sculptures with incredible craftsmanship. Asaro mudmen. Not all indigenous tribes are deadly killers, but this particular tribe located on the New Guinea island certainly looks the part. However, looks can be deceiving, as the Asaro mudmen, or the Halosa, which translates to ghosts, are peaceful people. However, seeing them for the first time might make one scared, because they cover themselves from head to toe with gray mud, and wear demonic-looking clay head masks. They elongate their fingers with bamboo sticks, and move in a slow single file to a rhythmic pattern that can be likened to a spiritual dance. The truth is they look this way to intimidate and scare their enemies, to avoid war and conflict. Why go to war when you could scare?
Imagine this: you're just out in the wilderness, in the jungle, and all of a sudden you just hear. It's like a rhythm, you know, and you see just like 15 gray people who have the face of a demon, bro. That would be terrifying.
Them to victory. The Asaro mudmen adopted this look when attacked by another enemy tribe. During the attack, they hid in the Asaro River, and when they came out, were covered from head to toe with gray mud. The attackers saw them and fled in fear, believing they were the ghosts of past Asaro people they killed. The Asaro people realized this was a great and intelligent way to avoid conflict and war, so they continued the practice. The masks are made by a skilled craftsman, who ensures they are all unique and different. Some have horns, tusks, and fangs, while some are painted and decorated with other colors. The bottom line is the masks should be as scary as possible. Korowai tribe. The Korowai tribe is another indigenous tribe living deep inside the rainforest of Indonesia, completely isolated from modern civilization. Due to the high mortality rate caused by jungle diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, and severe anemia, most of them
Isolated
do not.
tribe. That's so hard probably nowadays, because you're gonna get like people from like trying to clout chase, you know, being like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and give these people who have never even contacted a single other person from their tribe. I'm gonna go cough on them. I'm gonna give them COVID-19." Like, bro, just chill out. It's still bleeding. Oh. Like, chill out, bro. Don't do that. Just leave them alone.
Live past 50, as they have no immunity to fight these illnesses. However, these deaths are blamed on an evil demon called Kakua, who is said to take the form of their loved ones to kill and eat the flesh of the tribespeople. So if anyone dies from malaria or anemia, Kakua is blamed, and to stop the demon, the Korowai people capture, kill, and eat the flesh of anyone suspected of being possessed. To identify the Kakua amongst them, the victim dying would mention the name of the person he suspects as the one.
Bro, you could just name anyone. Oh, so imagine you like lying on your deathbed and you just name the dude who like called you like a rude name. Just call a random person who was like rude to you once.
His flesh from the inside, and once a name is mentioned, the tribespeople would kill and eat the person, which means they avenge the death by eating the Kakua responsible. Although the cannibalism of the Korowai tribe has reduced significantly, partly in reaction to several incidents with the police, it is believed that many of the tribespeople are still murdered and eaten each year. Huaorani Tribe. In 1956, 5 evangelical Christians from the United States journeyed to the depths of the Amazon rainforest in search of the Huaorani people. The Huaorani tribe, located within the Ecuadorian Yasuni National Park, had never been contacted. Still, these men decided the best thing to do was to journey from America and introduce a new god to them. The contact was complex, and there were a lot of misunderstandings on both sides. Although the Christians offered gifts to the tribe when they arrived, and the tribe's people collected the gifts with fear, but mostly excitement, they were all still brutally speared to death at night by the tribe warriors. A search party found their dead bodies floating on the banks of a river. Nobody knows the exact reason for the sudden hostility, but it is speculated that the 5 men had set up camp too close to a Huaorani settlement. The Huaorani people are fiercely territorial, attacking anyone who tries to enter their lands, including other Huaorani. They maintain a solid in-group out-group distinction between relatives of the tribe and other people unrelated to them, and have been known to kill plantain workers and explorers who come too close. The tribe's primary source of survival is hunting monkeys and other small animals with spears and blowguns. Tree climbing is a vital skill for hunting monkeys, and members consider it crucial. However, the long-standing practice of climbing trees has caused the Huaorani people to experience different forms of physical adaptation to their feet, including flattened and extra toes. Batak tribe.
We're de-evolving, bro. Return to monkey. Yeah.
First distinct feature of the Batak people is their physical attributes of dark skin and curly hair. They are considered to be of Negrito stock and live in the high mountains of the Philippines, with ancient practice of the Batak people is their physical attributes of dark skin and curly hair. They are considered to be of Negrito stock and live in the high mountains of the Philippines, with ancient practices and customs that shape their lives and traditions. Before the Batak people's marriage ceremony, a process called the alyog is first performed. This practice is used to determine if the boy's parents agree to his marriage to a chosen girl. The boy's parents are usually escorted by a tribe elder who witnesses the conversation and final agreement. They are also a very spiritual and religious tribe that believes that spirits with the powers to cure and heal
like these tribes, there's always a certain religion part, because maybe what I'm thinking is maybe religion is a key part in like humans, because they gotta believe in something, it's a key part in living, because all these tribes, they're like the this is not to meant to be derogatory, but like the base form of humans, because like less advanced humans is not meant to be derogatory. I love all people. I love everyone. I treat everyone with respect. The the oh my god, despite their skin color or everything, but like it's like even at the base form of humans, we have some sort of religion. So I thought that was interesting.
severe diseases reside in big rocks and trees. This belief is sacred, and the Balan, the chief priest, performs different rituals to honor these spirits. A ritual called Saghat is performed to the goddess spirit to ask permission for Kangain, the farming process used by the tribe involving the slashing and burning of trees and plowing the ashes as fertilizer. If the tribe's people get no sign or dream of disagreement with the goddess within 3 days and night, then Kangain would proceed. Simbu tribe. In the mountain terrains of the central highlands of Papua New Guinea, you would find the happy, simple tribe of the Simbu people. The Simbu people live in tiny settlements with oval houses, low thatched roofs, and flattened reed-woven walls. The men stay together in one communal house, while the women, children, and pigs live separately. They do not have much and rely on hunting for survival. Pigs are their most prized possessions and are used in exchange for marriage ceremonies and death rituals, and as push gifts to.
So do they like, hey, if you let me marry your daughter, I'll give you like 15 pigs. Do they like? Is that their form of look?
Thank the.
Oh, you get okay. Hold up. So that's like their form of like currency. You know how in like medieval Europe they would be like, hey, if you let me marry your daughter, I'll give you like 5 acres of land and a bunch of gold. This is like going back type of stuff, you know? Okay, I get it.
after childbirth. Another distinct practice among
I
the
don't think nobody would want a pig after you just like push out another human from you, bro. Yeah, is it like just get it immediately? Like, here, I have a pig. Congrats on having a kid. Now you have to take care of another thing. Good luck. Just leave you.
people is a pig-killing
Get
practice known
pigs.
as Bugla Ingu. In this ceremony, thousands of pigs are killed, cooked, and
Pigs?
distributed amongst the different tribes as a form of exchange ceremony to maintain good relationships and peace. Akuntsu tribe. The peaceful
Boys, yeah, I
Akuntsu
get it.
tribe hasn't been heard of in many centuries, but with only 4 members left, they may soon go extinct.
Four? Four? What happened, bro? Oh my god. Yeah, you gotta start. You gotta start. You can't be isolated. If you got four members, bro, you gotta start like not being isolated. You gotta branch out. You know, because unless your tribe, your bloodline's gonna die unless you like stop being isolated. I'm gonna be
Originating from Rondônia in Brazil, the Akuntsu people speak a unique
to
language that sounds
Brazil.
unlike anything you've ever heard. Tragically, Brazilian cattle ranchers in the 1980s perpetrated a massive massacre that almost completely wiped them out. The reason for this attack was that the cattle ranchers believed that if contact was made through the official channel, their forest would be turned into an indigenous reserve and closed off to loggers.
That's what I like. Low key. That fucking sucks, bro. Because like they would rather trade human lives, like real human lives, for for profit, bro.
And
That's
cattle ranchers. The government made official contact with them in the 1990s, and it was discovered that only 7 members of the Akuntsu tribe survived. Only 2 men, 3 women, and 2 young girls
bigger
were
than
left,
that,
but
bro.
eventually the oldest member and tribe shaman died during their sleep. In 2000, a tree fell on one of their homes, killing the youngest girl. The remaining 4
Dang.
members are the last known survivors of their people. Agori tribe. The Agori tribe, numbering around 70 members and based in Uttar Pradesh, India, practices a distinct and intense form of Hinduism, which includes unique post-mortem rituals that significantly diverge from mainstream practices. While we hold simple burial rituals, the Agoris take it a step deeper by smearing ashes all over their bodies, dwelling in the cremation grounds, and eating the flesh from the dead bodies. They use human
Flesh, bro.
bones
Why
to
do so many
make
of
sculptures.
these tribes? Why do they consume the bodies of their dead, bro? Could you imagine eating your like, for example, mother, bro? That you couldn't be able, or at least I could never eat the body of someone I knew, bro. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was raised in a non-cannibalism culture, you know. Maybe it's no. It's now. This is what it is. It's weird to us, but it's normal for them. They're probably like, "Why aren't you eating the dead, bro? You're wasting perfectly good food, not food. Why you're not? You're incompleting the ceremony, my guy. They're gonna be angry spirits. They're probably thinking
And
that about
jewelry, and
us.
believe many of their practices have healing powers. The Agori of the present trace their origins to Baba Kinaram, who was said to have lived for 150 years and died in the second half of the 18th century. He is regarded as an incarnation of Shiva, and his birth is marked by several miraculous signs, including the fact that he was born with a complete set of teeth, a rare phenomenon.
That's terrifying. Imagine your baby comes out, they just smile at you with full set of adult teeth. Bro, that would terrify me. Be like, bruh, there's something wrong with my kid.
And a sign of spiritual power. Following his birth, Baba Kinaram, revered in Agori tradition, did not cry or consume his mother's milk for 3 days. On the
3 days, bro, you starved yourself? Oh my.
4th day, his family was visited by 3 monks, believed to be incarnations of the Hindu gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, marking a significant turning point in his early life. After the visit, he
The other one was Shima. Why is there's 2 incarnations of Shima? Okay.
and accepted his mother's milk. The Agoris are the holy men of death, who live on the edge of life and death and live in isolation from
Alright, so they're
modern
all
society.
related to the same
Jarawa
guy.
tribe.
Okay,
The Jarawa people,
kinda
with a
weird.
population of 270, are amongst the last mainly uncontacted tribes in the Andaman Islands, which are located in the Indian Ocean. They are
Another
nomadic and
tribe
move
that,
from
like,
place to
we don't know
place,
about.
surviving through hunting boars and fish. They supplement their meal with the fruits and vegetables harvested from their current environment. Most ancient tribes were mainly nude, but the members of the Jarawa tribe were always naked and adorned themselves with objects like flowers, painted plastics, and shells from nature. Clay is sometimes spread on the body and used to design and engrave patterns. Honey is another excellent food source for the Jarawa people, and both men and women collect wild honey from lofty trees. During the honey collection, the members of each group will sing
Really good for
songs
you,
to
too.
express their delight, and the honey collector will chew the sap of leaves from a bee-repellent plant
That was
such as
crack to them, you
Uyakwalin.
know?
Once this is done, the Jarawa can cut the bee's nest, which they will put in a wooden bucket on their backs and start the journey home. The Jarawa people strongly believe in the cycles and phases of the sun and moon, and often use their movement across the sky to judge the success of their hunts.
No, very informative. Very informative. Tell me, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if I should react to more of this type of history informative type of video, you know? See you on the flip side, guys.